Hello, I'm Neal Petersen. When we think of lockdown, when we think of isolation, we're going to be thinking of COVID-19 and where in the world you are. What did you do during that period? Well, I like to think of isolation, not so much lockdown. Lockdown sounds too much like being in prison. But this is not a time to be in prison. This is a time to be liberating our minds, to be able to think about the world of possibilities, to reflect about what have we done with our lives, where have we come from, what's happening right now, to what can we do in the future. My background with isolation goes all the way to the period of a solo around the world racing yachtsman. I spent these years and years working on building a boat, putting a campaign together, raising the funds. Everything was about chaos, craziness, a rush because it was a deadline to get to the start of the 1994 solo race around the world, and again in 1998 on my second go at the round the world race. We live this extremely hectic life. There was a period in your life that if you were an executive, you'd be getting up in the morning, rushing off to the office, grabbing a cup of coffee on your way, maybe stopping at some fast food restaurant to get a snack, and then into all day of meetings, lunch on the go, then rushing home to the family. Everything was about rush. And then it was about the weekend, that time for tranquility and peace. That is how I felt in preparing for the race. This incredible chaotic period of putting it all together. And then the morning of the race, all the folks would gather on the dock, all the well-wishers, the media, the spectators, to watch the fleet being towed out to the start line. And then the spectator fleet gathering out on the other side of the start line. And the gun would go and we'd race, we'd take our sailboats charging into the spectator fleet. And then little by little, the fleet disappeared behind us. The last of the press boats turned around. And I was alone at sea. It was just me and the big blue horizon. Just me and 8,000 miles of ocean to the next destination. That peace, that quiet, was such an extreme. Going from being the center of attention to nobody. And then I had to start to really adapt. I'd been used to being around people, and this radical contrast to being alone. Getting through that first night at sea. Getting through the first 7 days at sea. The first 1,000 miles. And so this is how I have coped with lockdown. I have drawn upon those experiences of this busy life as a keynote speaker. I've been on and off planes, different cities every week, different countries every few months, meeting people continuously. This was a hectic time. I flew to Cape Town, South Africa to address a big international organization who was hosting their meeting in South Africa, and I was the opening keynote speaker. There was all the excitement. And then coronavirus put the brakes on everything. All my meetings cancelled, all the appointments to see friends and to hang out with different folks. Everything came to a screeching halt, as your life came to a screeching halt. And in this time of lockdown, there were people who felt depressed, people who did not know what their future was going to be like tomorrow because they'd never spent weeks and weeks at a time in confinement. They did not know how to be a family. They had to relearn how to be a family. The ability to sit down and eat a meal 7 days of the week with the same people that you've seen all day. What a luxury that can be, or what a nightmare it can be. Isolation is about relationship. It's about your relationship to your environment, about your relationship and how you relate to other people. But it's also about a relationship with yourself. How do you feel about yourself? When I was on the high seas, I felt lonely. I felt sad. I missed my friends. I missed my girlfriend. It was a very different experience. But I chose to be there, and hence I chose the isolation, and I made the sacrifice of leaving my loved ones behind. We did not choose that with COVID-19. It was forced upon us. But in being forced upon us, we as human beings are extremely adaptable. For many of you who are part of a family, you've chosen to have your family. You've chosen to raise your kids. You've chosen to be a part of a relationship with the person you love. This we have to look at as a gift. The gift of love, the gift of change, the gift of life. But more important, the gift of time. Let us not waste and lose the time in COVID-19. Let us find a way to make it count, to build the memories, to build the experiences, not of the isolation, but the amazing conversations that we can have around the dinner table, the lunch table. The difference of a pace, of not rushing to jump in the car to head off to the office or head to school, but to be able to take things at a much leisurely rate. And with this is going to come changes. How we communicate, the interpersonal communication, as well as our technological communications to the outside world. What we do know is that everything will change. Someday we will surpass the challenges of a COVID-19, but until that day comes, we will do things differently. We will learn how to behave in a different manner. But most important, we will learn to have respect for ourselves, respect for each other. We will learn to have respect for our environment. We only have one Earth. We call it Mother Earth. Mother Earth has spoken loudly. She has given me the storms and the high seas. She has now given us COVID-19. Let us find a way to turn this into a positive experience, into a positive response. Let us not squander what tomorrow can bring. Let's use today to remember yesterday and the amazing experiences we had yesterday. Let's use today to sharpen our skills, our interpersonal communication skills, our relationship skills, our skills to love, so that we can prepare for tomorrow, because tomorrow will come. Yes, the future is uncertain. I do not know when I will get to the finish line, if I will get to the finish line of my races, but I believe I can get to the finish line, as we must believe that tomorrow we will have a different world, and we can be a part of that different world and make a difference, not just in our lives, but in the lives of the people we love and care about, the lives of our community, and the lives of the next generation. This is not just about us. This is about all of us together. We are going to have many conversations about many different topics: love, communication, isolation, adventure, vision. There are so many different things that we can explore of how we can use our time to make each and every day count. I want you to come and join me, not just to watch our channel, but to also send questions. Tell me what you want to hear about. Tell me a bit about yourself. Tell me about your experiences. Let us take a journey from where we are to a journey where we can be. Enjoy your isolation. Make it count.